Good morning, bud.
Good morning. How are you, Scott?
The morning after the Super Bowl. How are you feeling? I'm good, man.
I'm doing great. Yeah, it was a good game. Did you catch it last night?
I did. It was fun.
Yeah, it was a good game. Um,
I had no horse in the race, but
Neither did I. I liked both quarterbacks. I know friends that have strong opinions about Tom Brady,
yes,
but
I was actually cheering for the Bucks for no other reason than another Edmonton boy, fellow comedian Alex Fortin. I just love to see him get all worked up about it.
yeah, no, I was reading some of the comments and the posts that he made, and that was worth it for nothing else. Cause just amazing.
For those of you listening, I'm sure we all know somebody like this, but he refuses to admit that Tom Brady is anything but an average quarterback.
Right? Yeah,
Has
not
gotten
great.
lucky.
Not even good.
Not even good. Average. Got lucky 7 times with good teams.
Right place at the right time. You know that story.
I respect how long he is stuck with it, though.
Isn't it amazing?
Alex has managed to hate Tom Brady a decade since I've known him.
He's great at it.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
Oh, man.
What are your thoughts, brother?
Well, it was a bit of a blowout. Let's be honest. I thought if the Bucks were going to win, and I keep calling them the Patriots. Every time I was talking about it last night to my wife, I kept calling them the Patriots. Just Gronkowski and Brady and everything, right? So, but I thought if they were going to win, I thought it was going to be a 17-14 defensive. They just kind of, grinded it out.
Mm-hmm.
I thought
the case.
I thought if anybody was going to have, a 14 plus lead, it would be Kansas City. So I'm honestly disappointed with how the Chiefs did. In the second half, especially, I thought Patrick Mahomes was going to be electric. I thought he was going to come out and do some magical stuff, and I was excited for that too. I was like, this is going to be amazing watching Patrick
That
Mahomes
second
throw
half
for
was
4
actually
touchdowns.
kind of boring. It's too bad.
It was bad.
very flat.
Yeah. I think when the Patriots, when the Buccaneers scored a touchdown on their first drive after half, I thought that was game. As soon as they scored there, I was like, oh, I knew it was over at that point. So
something is in the water this year in Tampa Bay. Hey,
yeah,
holy cow! What the worst possible year to have the best possible sports year would be 2020, and Tampa Bay has managed to pull it off. Yeah. Stanley Cup champs, Super Bowl champs, World Series runner-up.
Yeah. Still can't get a fan out.
No, still can't get a fan out. Why would you even want to go?
Why would you want to? Man.
All right, well, let's say welcome to the walk-off, everybody.
Yes,
I'm Scott Belford with my good buddy Adam Mack here. Thank you so much for listening. Today, we've got a killer guest. Really excited about airing this interview. We talked to Dr. Randy Gregg, 5-time Stanley Cup champion. He is a member of the Edmonton group that is bringing the West Coast League Edmonton Riverhawks to the Remax field this year. New collegiate baseball team, and we get into that with him. I'm not going to lie, man. I feel like it's the poorest performance I've had for an interview in months, and I swear it's just I didn't even. So I'm a Calgary Flames fan. Grew up in the 80s when the Flames just got their ass handed to them by the dynasty that was the Oilers. And all of a sudden I'm sitting there and what did it for me is when I was like, welcome to the show, 5-time Stanley Cup champion Randy Gregg, and then my tongue went in my throat and I was like, oh. Right. So for all of you listening, he's super entertaining, but forgive my tongue-tiedness throughout.
You know what? That just ties back into the Tom Brady thing. I just gotta address the fact.
Yes.
The Edmonton Oilers in the 80s were like the New England Patriots, right?
Yes.
But more compact, right? They did it in a tighter window. The Patriots did it over 20 years. They did it over 10 or whatever, right? But they traded their best player towards the end as well, right? Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah.
What Tom Brady did yesterday would be like if Wayne Gretzky left the Oilers and then immediately won the Stanley Cup the next year. But that wasn't the case.
No.
Right? So, Tom Brady got a lot of flack his whole career for being like a oh, well, he was just on a good team, right? And I think there's some similarities to be drawn there with Wayne Gretzky, who
He's 43.
it's absurd. It's absurd.
Like, let's give the guy credit. Like, most guys can't even play past 35. Like, it's unbelievable.
Well, that's the thing. He's got 7 Super Bowl rings. 4 of them have come after the age of 37.
Unbelievable.
Guys are retiring at 35.
Yeah.
37 is ancient, so it's absurd. Good for him. Anyways,
Yeah.
Randy Gregg, I digress. I'm sorry.
Yeah, honestly though, it was the 7-year-old in me that made it so tough to talk to him, I think. But it went well enough. I mean,
He carried
emailed us. He emailed us after. He did carry me. He put me on his shoulders. He carried me through the interview.
Yeah.
But he did email us back and say he'd love to talk to us again. So I guess I didn't punt it that bad.
You
But
didn't do it that bad. They've got a new uniform to be unveiled in March. So I think we're going to chat with him after they do the press conference and unveil the uniforms and stuff like that. So
actually, it's really cool. For all the Edmonton Ball fans, this new collegiate team is going to be the highest level of baseball that has been played in Edmonton since the Trapper, since AAA was there. So very cool to have a new home team for the Remax Field. It's a beautiful field, one of the nicest baseball fields in all of Western Canada. So it's great to see a team there that's going to be putting a lot of effort into building community spirit, which is something that he gets into, and just to allow entertainment for the whole family. That's kind of their goal, is to get the kids out and maybe the people that aren't quite as big of baseball fans to come and enjoy the experience at the ballpark. So that's very cool. That's coming up in about 15 to 25 minutes, depending on how long we rant about the Jays and stuff here.
Trevor Bauer.
Yeah. And Trevor Bauer. Let's get into it. Hey?
Right. Do we have to?
Okay, so first off, before we even touch on Trevor Bauer, I did wish to, and I know I ranted about Nolan Arenado for about 5 minutes last episode, so I don't wish to get too much into it. But, buddy, it's been a week, and I still can't wrap my head around the fact that the Colorado Rockies gave $50 million to St. Louis to take their best player. Like, it's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
And it's interesting, too, because I keep seeing rhetoric online from Jays fans that are like, well, we've got better prospects than because really, you look at the prospect haul that the Rockies got, and
not much.
They're all question marks. There isn't even a top 30 guy in the league prospect that was included in that. Right. So bunch of question marks. So Jays fans are like, well, we could have given a better prospect package. Yes, we could have. Everyone forgets that. And I think it was you that sent me this stat. The team that shows up on the most no trade clauses, the Toronto Blue Jays, by double the next closest. Yes. So, just chalk it up to the fact for sure the Jays checked in and we're told, no, you're a no fly here. Yeah. So over the weekend, the last big domino fell in free agency. And buddy, Rachel Luba and Trevor Bauer, despite everyone probably getting pretty sick of their little circus that they had been putting on throughout this free agency, touchdown. They won this one by a mile. I have never seen a player's contract that is that player friendly.
It's absurd.
It's absurd. So for those of you who didn't hear the numbers, he was signed for 3 years, but the way that the contract is weighted, he's got his first year, 2021, at $40 million, and then he has an opt-out. Second year is for $45 million. 2022, he is going to be paid $45 million. Buddy!
It's absurd.
How is this not like the biggest win by any player and agent in history? This is incredible. Then he gets another opt-out,
which he'll probably take.
Because year 3 of his contract for guaranteed money, I think it's 17 mil or something like that.
So the only way he doesn't take it is if he stops using pine tar and isn't good anymore, right? Mm-hmm. But in that case, it's still a $17 million safety net.
Absolutely. So, what a beautiful safety net. $102 million guaranteed dollars. Yeah. I didn't see him beating the annual average salary. I mean, he's the highest paid baseball player in history. Yeah. I like Trevor Bauer. I've been a big component of him all off season. I even enjoyed what they did up until about the end of December, and then it got tiresome, and I was like, just sign. Enough. Enough with the pageantry. Yeah.
Speaking of pageantry, what did you think of his announcement video?
I liked it. It went along with his brand. I mean, didn't upset me. He did come out and apologize to Mets fans, which is hilarious to me because the Mets felt jerked around, which they were, because they were used like the Jays have been used in almost of every free agent this year,
including Trevor Bauer,
just to drive up the free agent's price.
Yeah.
And it worked. I mean, I can't believe the Dodgers went out and spent $85 million on him over the next 2 years.
Yeah.
It's basically a 2-year contract. It's incredible.
Well, I mean,
but you look at that Dodgers rotation, buddy.
It's an immediate World Series favorite by a long shot. Like,
David Price is going to be their 5th pitcher.
Yeah.
David Price would be number 2 on the Blue Jays right now.
Yeah. I never liked David Price. I don't miss him.
And that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, even if Uria, their young kid on the Dodgers there, even if he's the actual number 5, he's still probably number 2 on the Jays. So it doesn't matter. You can shuffle that Dodgers rotation any way you'd like it, and they're landing 1 or 2 on this rotation. So it does kind of shine a light on how badly the Blue Jays do need pitching. And it's funny because both you and I all offseason have pretty much been like patience. Let's not freak out. Obviously, there's a plan here, especially after they signed Springer. I was like, if they don't sign another starting pitcher, that's ridiculous. There's no way they don't sign another starting pitcher. And dude, we're 8 days out from pitchers and catchers. Yeah. So I think something's going to happen in the next week. I don't know. We've got quite a few starting pitchers that are still out there in free agency. I mean, the big ones everyone's always talking about is Jake Odorizzi, Taijuan Walker. I mean, David Price has been mentioned in trade even, Luis Castillo, Sonny Gray. Like, there are guys out there that I think the Jays are in on. James Paxton, Big Maple.
Okay, I'm gonna give you my hot take when it comes to pitching. After Bauer signed with the Dodgers, I have less interest than ever in us trading for an ace.
Me too.
I don't think we have any fucking shot, excuse my language, at winning the World Series this year or next. I think with Trevor Bauer on the Dodgers, I think they're barring injuries. I mean, you always have to take barring injuries and weird PED suspensions into account, right? But of course, right? That can happen to anybody.
Yeah, of course. Sports, you got to still play the games. I get it.
But I just think the Dodgers are miles ahead of anyone else. So I don't think we have any realistic hope of winning a World Series. I think for the next 2 years, we should be focused on making the playoffs, making a deep run. But I don't want to see us overshoot our load. You know, I don't know.
I agree.
We still have a window, and I would rather see us be stacked for the last 3 to 4 years of that window than just get fucking mowed down by the Dodgers in the World Series for the next 2 years.
And this front office has laid out the plan right from 2017, right from the start of this rebuild. And 2021 was what they had circled on the calendar as the year that they start to compete. And we're there.
Yeah.
So far, their plan is on pace. And if you look at the numbers that are locked into contract right now, there's over $50 million coming off the books next year. I think that they have kind of put 2022 in their sights as their next big free agent signing for a pitcher. And there are some big time free agent pitchers out there, including Max Scherzer. I mean, the list is huge. We can pull it up and rattle off names to you, but I think that is the plan. I think you are correct. I think that they are still going to get a pitcher in that Taijuan Walker range.
And I'm on board with that. Let's go sign a free agent. Let's get a mid-rotation guy. Like, we still need to compete. We still need to get past the Yankees, right? But
100%. And that's the thing is you look at the American League, and right now the Jays are a much better opponent in the American League. You know, like you look at the teams that they're competing with, the Houston Astros, the New York Yankees. They're a lot closer to those squads than they are to the Padres and the Dodgers. That is for sure. I mean, even the Dodgers are miles ahead of everyone. And you look at the Padres and they're slightly below the Dodgers in every way, in my opinion.
Yep.
You know, like they're just not quite as good pitching. And the Padres would be the best team in the American League if they were in the American League.
That's exactly it. You put it perfectly. So I think I'm excited for baseball to start, though.
Me too, buddy.
Sounds like we're going to be in Dunedin, hey?
It does sound like we're going to be in Dunedin. Probably all year.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with minor league ball playing, there's no reason to kick the Bisons out of Buffalo.
Well, I would rather us stay. Like, if we're going to... I don't want to go back to Toronto halfway through the year.
No.
I have no interest in our team being, 10 games above 500. We're 30-20, and now we're fucking changing everything, and everybody's got to go find an apartment. And
especially with ball players being such creatures of habit, routines. You don't wish to disrupt that. Absolutely.
So, let's just kick it down the road. Let's start building a new Rogers Center. Let's just go.
So I did bring something up last week that I meant to delve into a little bit more, and then we got a little carried away ranting about the MLB and MLBPA, and that kind of ate up our time. Yeah. But we did bring Greg Zahn onto the podcast 2 weeks ago to talk about the George Springer signing, and he had a bit of a rant about journalism, sports journalism. Okay. We brought up the Michael Brantley thing and talked about how it was reported by Hazel May and by Ken Rosenthal that he was going to the Blue Jays. And then it wound up being, of course, that he's going to the Astros. And it wasn't even the same
details of the
yearlies. Yeah. Like he was supposed to go to Toronto for 3 years. He wound up in Houston for 2. And then we watched this happen too, even with Trevor Bauer. Bob Nightingale came out and he was like, Trevor Bauer signing with the Mets. Done deal. Right. And this blows up. Turns out, no, he's not going to the Mets. Same thing. Completely different money than what was reported. And he goes to a different team. And everybody makes mistakes. So I'm not here. I'm bringing this up because Greg Zahn was very harsh on Hazel May. He even said that she probably shouldn't have a job after messing up twice in a week, where she reported Brantley going to Toronto. And then she also reported the Jays going to Pittsburgh as their home stadium this year. Both of those wound up not being the case. Right. Okay. I think sports journalism is in a really weird spot right now because there are a ton of, we'll call them journalists, that are outside the normal realm of platforms and stuff like that. There's a lot of bloggers, a lot of guys that are on Twitter that are also have sources or are connected to some of these guys on a lower level. Essentially. Guys like us that we might like, who knows, right? Like we have talked to enough guys that are in the game that maybe we get lucky one time and somebody just tells us something we shouldn't know. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. But there is no, for a blogger, for guys like you and I, there's no consequences for us being wrong.
It's true.
So if we push something out and it's not the case, we can always throw our arms up and go, well, we're not professionals anyways. Get off our back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But what that has created is this culture within sports journalism where it's whoever gets to it first is the winner. And it's putting way more pressure on the pros to jump ahead and maybe announce something without being 100% certain. I'm just convinced this is what's going on because I haven't seen it this much at any other time than this offseason. Yeah. I mean, again, everyone makes mistakes, but buddy, can you even think of an offseason where we've had this much misinformation reported as fact?
No. Well, I mean, we live in the misinformation age, right?
We
Fake
do.
News, so it's
fake news. Yeah.
It's okay. Can I give a conspiracy theory about the Trevor Bauer thing?
Yes.
I think someone at the Trevor Bauer camp leaked it to Nightingale. I think they had a deal in place and they knew we don't want to go to the Mets. We want to go to the Dodgers, but let's leak it as if it is a done deal, and let's just get the Dodgers to jump.
And they did.
Right? Like, it's not officially signed, but like, let's announce it as if it is. Let's leak it to a guy. He'll make it public, and then 2 minutes later, guess who's calling? It's the Dodgers saying, "Okay, fine. We'll give you what you're asking for."
How about $45 million for 2022?
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. Right. So I think that happened. I think there was some.
And I like that conspiracy because Nightingale has been wrong a lot lately. So if you're going to leak it to somebody,
he's the guy you know is going to jump.
You know he's going to jump.
Yeah.
I think you're right, man, and I think there is more at play. Obviously, yeah. I just think that we're jumping all over the place here. But I just had a thought. Can you imagine the shitstorm that would happen if Trevor Bauer wins the Cy Young this year and opts out for $50 million for next year? You know, if he wins the Cy Young again after 162 and he's like, you know what, I'm going to bet on myself again. I'm going to opt out and I'm going for $50 million for this year. Like,
that'd be incredible. I can't under any circumstances see him opting out after this year.
But it seems impossible.
Man, wouldn't that be amazing though?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe he'll come to Toronto in 2 years. Who knows?
Lines up with your timeline as to when we're winning.
It's perfect. No, that's good. I didn't like the Trevor Bauer announcement video. I thought it was sleazy. It
was super hokey.
It was the worst thing I've seen since LeBron James announced that he was going to Miami with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. So
this is exactly what he's trying to do, though.
Yeah. Oh, and it worked. I mean, it's huge attention and whatever. Like, ultimately, this whole campaign of like, hey, MLB fans, tag me in videos and campaign. Like, tell me why I should come to your city. It's like Trevor Bauer just got millions of Blue Jays fans to pay any attention to him. If he had to just quietly sign with the Dodgers, nobody would still know who the fuck he is, even with a huge contract, right? Like,
no, it's true. Absolutely.
Who's paying attention to Garrett Cole? Nobody.
Nobody.
Right? But now Bauer has YouTube subscribers and social media followers all over North America. So for his brand, it's amazing.
The hate he gets, I don't even understand, because it's just like you're falling for his shit.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing.
He's positioned himself as this heel.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, as far as those tech algorithms go, right? They just want engagement.
Yeah.
So whether it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down, whether it's a good job comment or a fuck you comment, the computer just says, oh, people are engaging. That's good. So yeah, he wins. So if you're really upset, just fucking...
Trevor Bauer's trending.
Yeah, exactly. Good or bad or otherwise. So I don't know. Good for him, but we were clearly never in the running for him.
Even when you watch his video, you saw how prevalent the Reds and the Jays jerseys were. Mm-hmm. And all I could think was like, oh, he's really laying it on. Like, there was just no market too big or small, no geographical reasons, right? And then it's like, guess what? I'm going home to LA, you know?
For a shit ton of money.
Yeah. Shocking. We saw this before with Kawhi. Don't act like that, Trevor.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Did you before we throw to Randy here, let's talk about the Tampa Bay Rays for 1 second.
Okay.
They signed Chris Archer to a 1-year, $6 million deal.
Wow.
And if there is any deal out there that was made this free agency, that is the one that I say keep your eye on.
Really?
That is the one where I'm like, we just watched the Tampa Bay Rays not sign Charlie Morton. Mm-hmm. Like, when I say not sign, I mean not pick up his option.
Right.
I think it was only for like $13-14 million. We'd need to, double check there. Right. But it wasn't for a pile of money for a pitcher of his ilk.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, they trade Blake Snell.
Right.
So you think that they're throwing their hands up and that they're saying, okay, we're retooling again.
Right.
But if Archer works out,
Well, they still
I
got...
know that's a big if, but man, like he was so deadly in Tampa Bay. He knows how to pitch to the AL East. He's a competitor. He's a guy that, when it comes to pitching acumen, is top 10% in the league. He's only 31. He could totally find it again with Tampa Bay. And oh man, with that, I mean, friend of the show and fellow comedian Adam Blank messaged me right away, and he was like, "You watch. This is the one." So,
well, who knows? I don't know. Who do you think has more fans in the stands this year, the Rays or the Jays in Tampa? Dunedin is in Tampa Bay, right?
Yeah,
It's in
Dunedin
that
is
area?
about it's about 30 minutes from 40-minute drive from Tampa.
Right.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Awesome. Okay, man. Shall we throw to Randy?
Yeah, let's do it. This was great, bud. Always a pleasure. Thanks everybody for listening. Check us out on YouTube. That's the Walk Off Podcast. It's our algorithm's just chugging along, so we should come right up.
You bet.
If you haven't subscribed, please do. That would be very helpful. Yep. And of course,
give us likes.
Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever.
Give us bad comments too. As we said, that still helps us. So
yes, bad comments, good comments. Trevor Bauer the shit out of us if you want.
Yeah. You know what? Just pick on Trevor Bauer in our comments. That's the best way to get back at Trevor Bauer. All right, man. Good talking to you. We'll see you next Monday.
Cheers. Thanks for listening, everyone.